Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know that I haven't filmed a YouTube video in quite some time, but to be honest, lately I have decided to focus my attention more on my Instagram content so that I can drive some of my audience in there, which is considerably bigger than on YouTube, to my YouTube channel. But yeah, now I'm back. I am trying to be a lot more consistent and produce a lot more videos for you guys. But anyways, today I'm bringing you a tutorial on this really gorgeous Glam. I feel like this makeup is so flattering. It is so elegant, kind of sexy, you know? And I feel like it's appropriate for day use or even for a night out. I don't know, I just really love the vibe of this makeup look. But if you want to know how I did this, just keep on watching. But before the tutorial even starts, don't forget to like this video and also to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have seen some of my videos, you have probably noticed by now that I usually start by doing my eye makeup. And the reason being is it gives me some room to clean up any mistakes or any fallouts that might have happened. And today we are going to be smoking out a liner, and that almost 100% for sure will create some fallout, and I will probably have the necessity to clean the outer part of the wing. So yeah, that's what we are going to do. So I am going to zoom in so that you guys can see in detail every single step that I'm doing. Now that you can see every single one of my pores, we are going to start the eye makeup. And the first step that I always take is to create a solid, even base for the eyeshadows. And for that, I'm going to be using this NARS concealer. This is their Radiant Creamy Concealer, and the shade that I'm using is called Medellin. I start by applying it directly on my skin. And now that I look absolutely matte, I'm going in with my sponge to blend this out. And I know it's a little bit dirty, but I used it yesterday, so you know. I used to be super loyal to my beauty blender, but lately I have been using this sponge from Real Techniques, and guys, I must say that I am completely in love with the performance of this sponge, to be honest, and it's so affordable, which is quite impressive. Now to set this concealer, I'm going in with my Mercier translucent setting powder, which I really love, and taking a large blending brush. This one is from Zoeva, it's the 228. Which is my favorite blending brush, by the way. I'm going to start by picking a little bit of powder at a time and just tapping the brush against my skin. I honestly feel like this is the best way to apply this powder, by just tapping. Moving on to the first eyeshadow, I am taking Friendication from Dose of Colors in collaboration with Desi and Katie. And by the way, this palette looks like this on the inside. And I am going to be taking Necessary, which is like the lightest brown in this palette. And I am still using the 228 from Zoeva. And I'm going to apply this eyeshadow in the outer half of my crease because I want to give it a little bit of definition. And you will also see me like bringing the eyeshadow towards the end of my brow because I want to kind of lift and extend my eye makeup. When the brush has pretty much no pigment in it, I bring it towards my inner corner just to kind of continue that shape that we are creating on the crease, but without adding too much eyeshadow in this first half. Now I'm taking the eyeliner that I'm going to be using, and this one is from Inglot. I really love their eyeliner formulas. And by the way, this is not the classic black shade they have. This is the shade 90, which is basically a deep matte brown, and this is what it looks like on the inside. And using a 31T from Inglot, which is an angled eyeliner brush, I'm going to start drawing an eyeliner, and this time, since I'm going to smoke it in a way like that it elongates my eye makeup and stuff, I'm going to be focusing most of the eyeliner in the outer half of my eye, and I'm going to try to keep it really thin so that once I smoke it out, it doesn't get like too big, because by smoking out the liner, you are only like adding up to its size. I am so sorry that I built most of this liner off camera, but I honestly cannot do this and talk at the same time. I just can't, guys. I need to focus. I just wanted to say that one honest piece of advice that I can give you guys when it comes to drawing an eyeliner is just to look straight in the mirror, and you see this line that you have like in here that your waterline naturally creates. Well, I like to follow the outer part of that line. You kind of like follow more or less like the same angle that it gives you, and you just create a wing of the size that you want to do. I created kind of a long wing because I want to elongate my eye makeup, so I want everything extended outwards. And then look straight in the mirror and place your brush almost in the tip of your wing, and then bring it inwards, but keep your eyes open, because this way you can exactly see how your liner is going to look once you open your eyes, which is how you are going to spend most of the time. Obviously, you're not going to walk around like this. And it also gives you like a really good idea of what flatters your eyes the most. Now when it comes to the inner half, I'm going to pretty much tight line my lash line. And this is a great type of liner if you are still growing your skill, or you're just having like a bad makeup day, which happens to us all. I'm not having the greatest makeup day myself too. So yeah, this is just perfect, because even if you fail and you cannot like do that sharp line that can cut pizzas, it is fine because you are going to smoke it out. And when it comes to the down part of it, it's just fine because you can also clean it with concealer. So I think that's pretty much perfect. Okay guys, I went off camera to finish off the eyeliner part, and as you can see, I wasn't that precise with the shape because we are going to be smoking it out, so who cares? Now we are moving back to the Friendication palette, and this time we are taking the darkest brown eyeshadow in this palette, which is called Chins, and I am using a Morphe M213 brush, which, as you can see, it's a little flat shader brush. And I'm going to start by packing this brown eyeshadow on top of the liner. As you can see, the eyeshadow is a little bit lighter, but that's completely fine. Now I'm just going to be doing like some sort of zigzag motions. I didn't add any pigment to my brush, and I'm just doing these motions to kind of start to blur this line. I kind of like to go a little bit overboard with this dark brown because I love it when the shimmer is on top of the more blended dark eyeshadow, if that makes sense. I just love the fusion of the eyeshadows. When it comes to the wing, I only blend it until halfway, and when you are getting to the part of the eyeliner in which it is going up, instead of blending it like zigzag motions, which can thicken the wing so much, I kind of blend it inwards, as if I was like bringing the eyeshadow until like the outer third of my lid. Now that I'm done with the deepest brown eyeshadow of the palette, I am taking the medium one, which is called Shoujo, and is this one right here. And by the way, I'm still using the same Morphe brush. I just clean it so that I can use for this eyeshadow. And I am going to apply and blend this eyeshadow right where the deepest one finishes, just to create an even like softer transition. And as you can see, I'm bringing it towards like the outer third of my lid. Now I'm taking this pencil brush from Zoeva and kind of just use it to help blend these brown eyeshadows. As I did with the first matte eyeshadow, like the lightest brown that I used, I am also bringing this medium deep brown towards the end of my brow, but also connecting it to the tip of my wing. Okay, so we are finally at my favorite part of this eye makeup look, which is applying this Master Crystal Reflector Highlighter by Makeup by Mario. This is in the shade QUARTZ. It is not beigey at all, but it is right now because I have applied it multiple times and mixed it with some more like brownish shimmers. So yes, some of those have transferred a little bit of pigment, which I can seem to get rid of. I am going to apply it on the lid without being too precise at all. And as you can see, I'm kind of overlaying it with the rest of the matte eyeshadows that I have. I'm not being precise at all. I like to focus most of the intensity of this shimmer in the inner corner, and it fades away as we go towards the outer corner. Now for false lashes, I am taking this by SOSU, which are in the shape Gigi, and I have used them once and I really love the effect that they give, and they definitely help like elongate the eyes. Now we are moving to complexion. I'm going to be using two primers, and they are both from NYX Cosmetics. The first one that I'm going to be using is this one. This is the Angel Veil primer. This is basically a blurring Skin Perfector kind of primer. And the second one that I'm going to be using is this one, which is called Bear With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. And I love using this to fill like those extra large pores that require a little bit more dedication. As you can see, this one is more like of a gel texture as they claim. The first one that I showed you guys, I'm going to use like in the outer parts of my complexion just to blur everything and kind of give the look of a filter. Now for the jelly one, I'm just going to tap and press it against my pores, and I am mainly going to be focusing this on my nose and the surrounding parts. Now I'm going to color correct my dark circles as I always do, and I am using the Naked Skin Color Correcting Fluid by Urban Decay, and this is what it looks like, and I use it in the shade Peach. Now going with my sponge, I am just going to blend this. Now it's time for foundation, and I am bringing you one that I have tried recently on my Instagram and that I have absolutely loved, which is from NARS. This is their Sheer Glow Foundation. Guys, I love this foundation. I thought that it wouldn't be great for my skin type since I have like combination skin with an extremely oily T-zone. But to be honest, this foundation works perfectly for my skin, and it just gives like that natural subtle glow. It's not too glowy and it feels so light on the skin. I just really love the finish. It makes my skin look a lot better but without being like too heavy. And by the way, I am using the shade Stromboli, which is like the perfect undertone for me, but I use this after going to the beach and I lose my tan pretty quickly, so I don't know if this is still my shade. It's probably a tad bit too dark, but just bear with me. And one thing that I want to say about this foundation compared to the NARS Radiant Longwear one is that this kind of applies a lot lighter than the other one. I don't know, but if you try the same shade that you use in the Radiant Longwear one, you might find that it's a little bit too light in the Sheer Glow. At least that happened for me, like the Fiji one was way too light for me. As you can see, this foundation definitely has a bit of a lighter coverage, but I have tried it a few times now and it's definitely buildable, but I think I'm going to stick to this level of coverage, to be honest, because I'm still going to add concealer and stuff, so I will use that to add the coverage where I want it to be the most. Now we are moving on to cream bronzer. The one that I am using is this one from Huda Beauty. I always use this one. I love the formula. I love just how it applies and how easily it blends, and the fact that as you blend it, it doesn't just spread everywhere basically. To apply it, I am using this brush from Real Techniques. This is their sculpting brush. I always pick a little bit of product, then I make sure that it's evenly spread across all the bristles of this brush, and then I start tapping the brush on my face in the areas in which I want to apply the product. As I have been doing since the very beginning, I just tap my brush on my face instead of just sliding where I want to apply the product, because that way I make sure that I'm not moving the foundation around. I'm just kind of like layering products, and I feel like that just gives you the best application. As per usual, I am applying it also on the perimeter of my forehead, but lately I have been focusing more like on these sides, kind of like shaping a triangle. And I also apply a little bit on my jawline. Now I'm going in with my sponge to make sure that everything kind of blends together and that you cannot really see where one product finishes and the other one starts. And I'm using this flat part of the sponge. I love doing this because I don't use this to apply product, so this surface doesn't really have much product in it. I also love to use this part of the sponge to go in after applying my foundation, just to make sure that I absorb any excess that I might have. Now I'm going in with concealer, and I am taking the same one as I've used in the beginning of this video, which was this one from NARS, and this is a Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Madeline. I'm going to apply it in the areas that I want to highlight. So I apply it in this area right here, a little bit on the chin, the bridge of my nose, and a little bit in the lowest part of my forehead. The last thing that I blend is always the bridge of my nose. I like to let it set for a while and kind of like dry a little bit so that once I blend it, it doesn't move everywhere, so that it actually helps like shaping my nose. Before moving on to any powders, I am first going to spray my face using the All-Nighter from Urban Decay. To start setting my complexion, the first powder that I'm going to be using is this one from Mercier. This is their translucent setting powder and just a regular large powder brush. And I'm just going to tap the brush all over my complexion. After setting my complexion with that first layer of powder, I am now going to bake under my eyes and below my cream bronzer to just help define the shape of my face a little bit better, and in any other areas that I feel like I might crease a little bit. While this whole thing bakes, I'm going to start applying powder bronzer, and I am using this one from Benefit. This is the Hoola, which is their classic shade and probably like one of the most famous powder bronzers you can possibly think of. And to apply it, I'm using this deluxe Morphe brush. I start by using this brush on my forehead, but then I go in with my Japanese brush, which is better like at blending and stuff. And I can also start applying a little bit on my jawline. Now, as I said I would, I am going in with my Japanese brush to continue applying a little bit more bronzer and just blending it on the perimeter of my forehead. I feel like this has done enough baking, so I'm just going to swipe off this translucent powder. Now that I don't have any excess powder on my face, I'm just going to keep on applying the powder bronzer that I was using in the areas that I also want to apply it. I pretty much overlay it with my cream bronzer just because I like to set it that way and kind of to intensify it a little bit more. For the sides of my nose, I use this kind of tapered and angled brush, also a deluxe brush from Morphe, and I just apply the lightest amount possible. I don't try to shape my nose, I just try to apply a little bit of shadow as if I had like a natural tan going on. As you can see in here, it doesn't change much from the cream bronzer. It just diffuses everything so well and it intensifies so much. Now for blush, I am taking this MAC palette from my Pro Makeup Kit and I am using this blush, and I am using this Zoeva brush, which is the 127, which is their Luxe Sheer Chic, and I'm just going to apply the blush in here, and I like to bring it to the apples of my cheeks because I feel like that gives such a youthful kind of look. Now for the lower lash line, using the 227 from Zoeva, which is this tapered blending brush, I am going in with the first matte eyeshadow that we use, which was the lightest brown shade, and I'm just going to apply it all over my lower lash line. Now taking this brush, which is the 232, also from Zoeva, their Luxe Classic Shader, I am going to take this middle brown shade that we used, which was called Churro, and apply it a little bit more precisely, a little bit closer to my lash line. Now for mascara, I'm taking the Better Than Sex from Too Faced, and I'm just going to apply it on my top lashes and my lower lashes. Guys, I love this mascara so much. It's definitely my favorite. Before I go in with highlighter, I'm going to spray my face one final time. The highlighter that I'm using today is my absolute favorite one. This is from BECCA in the shade Moonstone. And to apply it, I'm going to use another deluxe brush from Morphe. I honestly love applying highlighter with this brush because it really makes it blend into the skin really well. I'm changing my brush to this Shade and Light from KVD to apply the highlighter on my inner corner, the brow bone. And by the way, before I forget, when I apply the highlighter on my inner corner, I like to bring it a little bit into like the crease slash lid and also a little bit on the lower lash line. To finish off this makeup look, I'm going to use my favorite lip combo lately, which consists of these two NYX Cosmetics products. This is their matte lip liner in the shade Cold Brew, which is basically a really deep reddish kind of brown. And this is their soft matte lip cream in the shade London. I start by lining my lips using the pencil. Now I'm going in with the lipstick, which as I said is in the shade London. And I just apply it, keeping that outer dark line. Hi guys, I am back. As you can see, I went off camera to do my hair. I'm fully glammed, fully ready to go, except that the only place that I have to go to is my bed. I should have been sleeping for maybe the past 4 hours because it's almost 4 a.m. But who cares? At least this makeup turned out really well. But I also want to know what you guys think about this makeup look. Like, would you wear it? Do you like it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification button down below if you want to see my future videos. And yeah guys, that is it for this video. Bye, and I hope to see you in the next one.